questions I get asked all the time as a wellness coach is, how do I stay on track while I am going out to eat? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you a couple of tips that I use personally and I tell all of my clients when it comes to staying on track and enjoying the occasional night out. Dive in, I just want to give a special hello to those of you that are new to this channel. My name is Brianna. I am a wellness coach, iTrackBites ambassador, and YouTube content creator. And I am so glad you are here today. Eating out, going out to restaurants, stopping at the drive-thru, or maybe having an occasional special dessert or heading to the bar for the game. All of these things are great, fun, and necessary life events. They're things that you want to do to spend time with your loved ones and with your friends. But when you're tracking your food intake, these occasions can pose quite a bit of a challenge for some people, and the results are a couple of things. They either overdo it and they don't know how to recover, or they panic about it and then they end up turning down invitations to social engagements that would otherwise have been a very enjoyable activity simply because of their anxiety around tracking. And there are of course other instances and situations that fall in between those two, but today I want to share with you a couple of tips that hopefully you can take with you and use the next time you are faced with the option to go out to eat. And using these tips, you can go out confident and feeling empowered to both stick to your plan and enjoy yourself. That's the goal of today's video, so let's go ahead and jump into those tips. Tip number one is when you are ordering out, go ahead and have a protein and vegetable focus. I'm not saying that you can't order what you want, but really try to make sure that there is a protein as the primary component of your dish. That way, regardless of what you're ordering, you know that you are getting somewhat balanced macronutrients, and the protein is really going to help you stay fuller and satisfied for longer. And of course, who doesn't love having extra protein in their day, right? This is a trick that I use almost every time that I go out, and in making sure that protein is the focus of my plate guarantees a satisfying and probably reasonably healthy meal, especially if you are making sure you've got vegetables as your side. Now, I'm not going to get down to specifics. I'm not going to tell you to order steamed broccoli and chicken every time you go out, but just being mindful of the components of your dish can really help you stay on track more easily. Tip number two is think about what you can add to your dish while you're ordering out instead of what you have to take away. Thinking about the components that you can add to your dish to make it a more nutritious and on-track dish feels a lot more abundance mindset than going into this thinking about what you can't eat. Automatically, when you tell yourself you can't have something, the deprivation mindset sets in and you are much more likely to want to go against the grain, to go and rebel and order the thing, and you will end up ordering the bad thing in abundance because you told yourself you can't have it. So we're not even going to go there. We are not going to talk about restriction mindset. We are instead going to think about what we can add to what we really want to order to make it a more well-rounded and balanced dish. For example, let's say you're going out for pizza. Pizza is one of my personal favorite things to go out and enjoy. Instead of just ordering your pizza and filling up your plate with 5, 6, 7 pieces of pizza and that being the only thing you eat, why not consider what you can add to your pizza in order to make it a more well-rounded dish? How about you have 3 slices of pizza and then fill the other half of your plate with a salad or with some vegetables? Or you can take your pizza and instead of ordering cheese pizza or pepperoni pizza, why don't you take a look at the specialty pizza menus or create your own and get some roasted vegetables on top of that pizza? You can put broccoli and onions and peppers and all sorts of things, all sorts of nutritious produce right there on top of your pizza. And then as you're eating your pizza, you have added nutritional components that make it a more well-rounded dish. Another option I like to use is fettuccine alfredo. A lot of people love to order pasta when they go out, but fettuccine alfredo is very heavy on the carbs and very heavy on the fat and very not heavy on the protein. What if you topped that with 4 ounces of grilled chicken? That goes back to the whole order protein-focused dishes. If you really want fettuccine alfredo, go ahead and order fettuccine, but put the protein on top of it and make sure you make eating that protein a priority alongside of your pasta dish. As long as you are considering a couple of elements that you can add to the meal that you really want, you will be able to guarantee more well-rounded and satisfying meals that will help keep you on track. Tip number 3 is to use the restaurant guide in the iTrackBites app. This restaurant guide just got a massive update, and the database is full of a whole bunch of new restaurants as well as all of the ones that were there before and updated menu items. And this is the easiest way to go ahead and pre-plan what you are going to eat before you even get to the restaurant. One of my favorite tracking techniques in general is to track the things you know you want to eat first thing in the morning, and then you can see what you have left to mess with throughout the day. Whether you are on a bites plan or you are following calorie command like I am, the restaurant guide works for everybody. All you have to do in your app is hit that little green plus sign, click on food, and then you see the menu options up at the top. Scroll over to brands, and then the very first thing you see is restaurants. Click on see all, and you can see the entire database and what iTrackBites has. Then all you do is you pick your option, pick where you're going to go to eat, and then you can check the menu and see how many bites or calories the thing you want is going to be, as well as a nutritional breakdown, which is an amazing thing for the iTrackBites app to have, and I love it. Planning ahead is really essential when you want to stay on track when you order out, so the restaurant guide is one of the best tools you could possibly have in your pocket to help you stay on track while you order out. Tip number 4 is to pick 1 or 2 indulgences and not every indulgence when you are out. And what do I mean by that? I mean that there are different options out there every time we go out. There are different courses, if you will. You have the alcoholic beverages or the sugary drinks. You have appetizers, you have your entree, you have your bread basket, you have your dessert. All of those things are options that you have when you go out to eat. And instead of indulging in all of them, say, pick 1 or 2 that are going to be your primary focus, and the rest of the options can be set aside for another day. It's not that you can't have them, it's that you are choosing not to overindulge because you have goals and you want to stay on track. It is very important that you understand that that's the mindset you have to have. You can have whatever you want, you just can't have all of whatever you want every single time. I'm going to use a little client example of my own here. I have a client who started working with me, and we set her calorie and her macro goals and everything was going great until I regularly started seeing, as she was checking in, that during her 1,700 calorie goal, I was getting a lot of 21 and 2,200 calorie days and messages from her saying, oh, we decided to go out. My spouse and I did an impromptu date night. Oh, the kids wanted to go out for ice cream. Oh, this, oh, that. And I was noticing that this was a trend multiple times a week. It wasn't just a once a week thing. So we had to sit down and have the hard conversation of, look, if you have goals, we're going to have to make choices here. And I'm not saying that you can't go out and you can't enjoy yourself, but maybe let's not have all of the indulgences every time you go. Because if you're going out 3 times a week, that's a lot of extra calories. So we had to prioritize what the options were. And every time this client had the option to go out, they had to make a couple of choices. And that's what I'm telling you to do today. In order to stick to your goals, you have to decide, and it is best for you to decide before you go out, what are the important indulgences for you tonight? Are you going to the Cheesecake Factory and therefore you really, really want dessert? That's great. That can be your indulgence, but I would pass on the alcoholic beverages, the appetizers, and I would pick a reasonable, nutritious, balanced meal. Maybe you don't want the dessert, but you really want to have a beer or 2. Go ahead, but then again, maybe pass on the bread basket and no dessert that night. Do you see what I'm saying? You can have all of the things, but you just can't have them every single time. Pick 1 or 2 categories that you're going to indulge in, and then have the discipline to let the other ones go and make nutritious choices in those categories instead. And to be clear, they can change each time. One night I might choose to indulge in dessert and therefore my entree is going to be chicken and broccoli or something of the like. And maybe there are other nights that I'm like, you know what? I'm not really feeling dessert tonight. I'm going to go ahead and order that pasta dish with some meat on top of it. You can go ahead and switch them out. And they can be different based on whatever situation you are in, but just know that you can't have every single one every single time and expect to still be on track. And then tip number 5 is probably the most important tip of them all, and it is the tip you all know, but it is a tip that it is very difficult to implement, and that is get back on track tomorrow. It's very, very simple. If you have an overindulgent day, the problem is not the overindulgent meal. The problem is the overindulgent meal tends to trigger the all or nothing mindset in a lot of people. Oh, I ate too many calories or too many bites out last night, therefore my entire week is shot and I might as well just throw caution to the wind and continue to eat like junk the rest of the week. And that is what causes you to fall off the wagon and start to lose your momentum. It's not the one meal, it's your inability to get back on track the next day. So what you have to do is you have to set things in motion to make sure that you are ready to do that. Go out and have a great time with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. But the next day, the next meal, the next food choice you make needs to be one that is back on track so you can very quickly get that momentum back. This is the most important element of any type of indulgence in staying on track. And the same goes for skipping your workouts. One skipped workout isn't going to kill you, but it's one skipped workout telling you that you can blow off the rest of the week because you missed that one workout that starts the downward spiral. The same thing happens with your eating. As long as you can set plans in place to make sure you are on track the next day, you've got nothing to worry about. Those were my 5 tips for staying on track when you are out at a restaurant or ordering in from a restaurant. Let me know in the comments below what some of your tips are. Did I miss anything? Are there certain things that you like to use that might help the community out? We would love to hear about it. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already joined our community, just click that little red button. We would love to have you. I hope you found these tips helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today, and I will see you in another video. Take care.